Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I'm your host Josiah, aka Mahler67, and with me, as always, you know I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good.
You doing pretty good? That's good to hear, man. It's like I haven't seen you in like less than 24 hours or so. No, Austin, yeah, Austin was in town last night. So, well, you were in town this whole weekend, which I forgot about. I thought it was only going to be, I thought it was a different weekend. The weekends are getting all mushed together due to the holidays and everything.
Oh yeah, it's been so much confusion.
So much, man, so much. And unfortunately, like, it's just one of those things that you messaged me like, hey, you want to go get like food or something? So I was like, yeah, sure. And so we ended up going to Permanent Brothers with our friend Todd and our friend Brandon. Got the good old fashioned Permanent Bros experience. Got to eat some, hang out, and then we just kind of like called it that night. Well, I called it that night. You all went off to continue doing things for like Todd and whatnot. How did all that stuff go?
It went really well, actually.
That's good. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's just so he's filming a movie about eggnog, and
Yeah.
I was putting a scene where like I'm like dying of eggnog, and I hate eggnog. Like it is.
I forgot about that
nasty.
when I said I would do this.
Yeah, and I hate it. Like I really hate it.
Yeah.
And so like I had to drink some of it and then like spew it up a little bit.
And
it just like, ugh, it is just disgusting. I hated it. And then like I went full like into the role. So like, I had it all over my shirt and stuff when I was dying and stuff, and I was compulsing with it out, and I realized that was a bad decision because if you've ever smelled really warm milk, that's why. Yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
No, it was bad. It was real bad. So what was really funny was I'm trying to state this. I was like spitting it up, and we did like, in movies you do like tons of takes. You do tons of takes in movies, and then you like pick the one you want. And the thing was like the one I picked was like, a really good take. But I realized it was a bad decision because it was like warm milk on me, and it felt like spit up. Like, it was like weird. So I had it all over my sweatshirt, all over my beard, and then I had it in my hair a little bit. And I'm driving like an hour back to the hotel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I smell nasty. And I felt nasty. And I was like, I gotta take a shower. Yeah. I showered, I like bathed myself 4 times trying to get that off. And then I laid in bed, and I was like, oh, I'm ready to go to bed. And when I did, I went like this, and I realized I got some of it up my nose. So like,
Ew.
I had to go blow my nose and stuff, and it was just nasty. So
maybe that's why you smelled it so much.
Most likely that's probably what it was. So
you just unfortunately had that. Probably it.
Yep.
Well, so that's cool.
Yeah.
How was your weekend up in Pittsburgh besides that? Do anything fun or had good? You good? Okay.
Yeah, I had so I got to be with you guys and stuff, and then I got to be with my buddy Seth and my buddy Brandon, all the weekend, which was phenomenal. I had so much fun. I got to try something that was like like kind of newish. I had a Chipotle chicken wrap burrito, and it was breakfast burrito because they put a hard-boiled egg inside of it, and it was actually like phenomenal. Like I actually ate it, and I was like,
I don't know if that's exactly new, Austin.
Oh well, I'm just saying I've never heard of the hard-boiled egg inside of it.
Yeah, well,
like scrambled eggs or something.
They may have been able to make that like special for people. Who made that for you?
It was a place in Charleroi, Pennsylvania called Perked Up.
Okay, so it wasn't Chipotle.
No, it wasn't Chipotle.
Okay, you said Chipotle burrito, and I was like, awesome. Chipotle's not new.
Chipotle burrito. Yeah,
Chicken
yeah,
Chipotle.
chicken
Okay.
Chipotle, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
I got you now. Huh,
So
interesting.
yeah. So yeah, it was really good. Really, really good. So yeah. I would have ate like 10 of those
Mm.
if I could have, but I was like, no,
That's
no,
the
can't do
problem
it.
with burritos, man. Like I can take like 5 of them easy and like plus and go.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
look at me. I'll die in 10 years and I'll be happy because that's what you do back then. But yeah, no, Austin, my weekend was pretty okay. You know, I just played Steam Summer Sale, or no, Autumn Sale, whatever they want to call it, for their series. I bought Darkest Dungeon, and I've been playing that. Still like learning the ropes and everything, and I really hate how there's just no good healing mechanic in the game outside of like certain abilities. And I don't know if that's true or not, or if it changes, but as it is now, like the only good healer is like the Abomination dude who can heal 0 through 13 health, but he applies 1 bleed whenever he heals. And I'm like, 1 bleed, that's nothing. If I hit with like a 10 or something like that, that's monumentally better than anything else. The issue that I'm having with the game is that I didn't understand the torch mechanic very well. And my first dungeon I went through, I got my guys so horrifically stressed out because I didn't know I had to keep clicking on the torches to light my torch. I thought it did it automatically. And so whenever everything turned black and white, I just assumed that like, oh, the dungeon's getting harder for the ending part of the game. No, I was forcing my people to run through a whole dungeon by themselves with no light and just RNGing that baby out. Because I just didn't know. Like, I didn't know I had to click on that stuff. I'm sure it told me I had to, but I did not catch that drift very well. But yeah, no, it was just it's a game. I'm getting used to it. I'm learning it. It's like a slow grind game, which I'm not used to. I'm used to games just being a little more quicker recently, but we'll see. I played that. I've been playing Hades, but I've kind of stopped playing Hades to play this because I'm like, all right, Hades is kind of like a brick wall mentality game, so I have to get used to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's basically what's been going on with me. Enjoying my time. From this week on, I have Wednesday and Thursdays off every week because I can't take Fridays and Mondays off until like the Christmas weekend. And so I'm just gonna have 2 days off randomly in the middle of the week. I'm just gonna have a weekend and then I'll have a day where I have to work and then more weekend for some reason. It will be crazy. It'll be crazy. It'll be great, or it'll be horrible. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Awesome.
Well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can always just catch up on all the games you bought.
Yeah, no. I mean, if I could stomach sitting down and playing the game longer than like an hour, yeah, sure. I've been finding myself just wanting to lay down and watch like YouTube or just like relax more than anything else. I need to get something to like center myself or make me want to sit in a chair for longer. I just haven't wanted to. It just nothing has motivated me to do it. But that's, I'll have to figure that out someday in my life. Anyway, Austin, talking about trying to figure something out today in our life, we're talking about a show that you put on my radar a while ago, but I didn't watch anything of it because I assumed we were going to watch it at some point. And that is Animal Control, a show with Joe McHale, which for anyone who is a Community fan instantly acknowledges like, hey, Jeff Winger, it's his new show where he is a animal control patroller. I don't know what they call them, deputy maybe, I'm not sure. But Austin, what did you think of Animal Control season 1?
I started watching this show because Joe McHale was in it. I do like Joe McHale. Really, there's no one else in the show that I know. at all.
That's not true.
There is. Yeah.
There's one person you may not know, but there's one person that I saw and I went, wait a minute, is that who I think it was? And then I checked it up. Yes, it was.
Oh, well, maybe.
Oh,
I just probably don't remember who he is.
Probably not.
Probably not. But the thing is there is a couple references to Community in this.
Has there been? I haven't heard
show.
any yet. I was watching out for them.
Yeah, there's like one, I think, so far. I think I'd have to look again just to make sure I'm right on the episode, because I could be mixing like
seasons. You've watched all the seasons, right?
Yeah, I've watched season 1 and 2. So
okay, then it could be very much that you're just mixing it, or it could have been I didn't catch it. That's 100% possible.
It could have been that too. I'm just trying to think what episode that was. Animal Control. I thought it was this season, that episode. I thought I remember that episode. Yes, it is Hellhounds and Sturgeons.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
It's the one where, like, they go into the house.
Yeah, and he has to put on the clothes to get the Hellhound to, get the dog to stop attacking them.
Yeah, when they're in the panic room or whatever in that house, he's like, it's in this weird language, and he's like, it's Spanish. I took a term of Spanish in community college. So that's the reference.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
So yeah,
would have been funny if he says like I went to community college for 4 years or something like that.
Yeah,
like, that would have been spot on.
Yeah, it would have been. What's really fun is next season's pretty cool because like there's a lot of people from community that show up.
That's good.
Next season. One person I remember. I don't remember most of season 2. I've watched season 1 a couple times. I really enjoy season 1. I think this show is. So I say with this show is like that type of thing where it suffers from it being on a public network. Like the show is on Fox, like it's on, it's like daytime TV.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to do that. You can't like push the boundaries a little bit with stuff. I feel like this show is one of those shows where it's like it's like a watch. Like it just, you watch it. It's probably just a show that I go back. It's not like, I'm not going to promote it as like a great show. Like some people are not going to like it. Some people are going to like it. If someone's like, I love Community, do you think I watch Animal Control? I'm like, that's like a thin line. Like, I feel like this has like its own sense of humor, but it does have some of that humor still.
I think very much like, if you're a fan of the actors of Community, specifically Joel McHale, right? Like if you're like, hey, I really like Joel McHale, I'm willing to watch anything he is in to support him just because I enjoy him that much. 100% watch it. Like that's how I kind of was with like a lot of shows after watching Community. I was just like, oh, this person's in this one, I'm going to go watch them, right? Like that was the thing that originally made me want to watch DuckTales, was because Abed, the person who plays Abed, is one of the Ducks. And then I found out Ben Schwartz was in it, and then I realized it was just an all-star cast that I slept on, and I was like, well, dang, Becky. And so I did that. This was one of the things that what drove me to watch it was Joel McHale. Because like I don't know anyone else, but the comparisons to like Community, it's not comparable to that. The writing style is completely different.
Yeah, it's totally different.
But you can also find similarities between all the different like acts of certain things. Like you have certain characters, it's like, okay, this is like kind of the Troy coded character where it's like he's a little more popular but he's kind of dumb, and so like he was the next star type deal thing. And then it's like this is the Britta, like it's the will she won't she of the show. And then this character's like, you could sit there and do that, but it's such like a long way off that you can't give that to someone and then them make that connection instantly. It's something that I think as the show goes on, it will develop and get better. A lot of the comedy in this show is weird to me because it's how do I say it? It's very 2014 comedy style. which is what like Community was. Like that was the style of Community back in the day. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's weird to me after having like more comedy of like different styles. Seeing it now and then watching it. Like I still liked it a lot. I think I really enjoyed certain characters. But then some of the other characters kind of fell a little more flat. Like I can't even remember any of their names. I don't even remember like Joe McHale's character's name. But like the one who has like the daughter who is like super like technologically inclined, and he goes on calls with the one girl that pranks with Joe McHale. Like I found his character kind of boring and bland. Not he's not a bland character. Like he has depth to his character, but it just always seems like he's the butt of jokes a lot of times, and he doesn't have like super redeeming qualities to him for some reason.
Patel. I feel like this season is just a warm-up season. I think season 2 we get into more of character developing, because the only ones that I think that are really like has a lot of character developing through this this season is like Frank, which is Joe McHale, and Shred. I think those two are like the main ones. And
also the director girl, I don't know, Emily I think is her name.
Yeah, Emily. Yep.
And the only reason why Emily gets it is because Shred's getting it, right? Like they're 2-1. The other girl who's the animal controller, she just kind of seems to be there as like a possible interest or like a deviant of some sort. Because like there's the whole episode where you find out that she knows the priest and she goes to church and she's an organ player and everything, and they're trying to like make it all like spin up on the head, like, ooh, she's like this deviant, and she's like, she does all this stuff. She has like the hidden side that she doesn't want to like show or talk about. And I'm like, that would be good in like 3 seasons, not in the first season where we're still learning about her, because we haven't seen any of that stuff. Like I was confused for a bit whenever I found out that she was trying to date the doctor girl for one point. And I was like, oh dang, I didn't even catch that that was what was going on here. And then it turns out to be like a bet between her and Joe McHale's character on like who could get with her. And I was like, I didn't know that was established. And I felt off by that, but it wasn't like terrible. It was just little things like that I was like, oh no, man, like the show was good. I liked it, but there was a lot of like that's okay. It didn't grip me like I thought it would, but if it was a show that was on, I would watch it. That's definitely the way I would put it. Like it's a show that would get me to watch it.
Yeah, it's not like I've stated, like I enjoy it, but it's not a show that I'm going to like, you know, it's not like a show I'm like, oh man, Animal Control's coming out, you know, like it's kind of like, or I can't wait for the next season. It's more of like, just it's a show and it's there. Like I enjoy it, I'll watch it, but it's not a thing that I like seek. Like I actually forgot all about Animal Control until we were like, you know, what can we do? And I was like, well, we could watch Animal Control. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And then I was like, this week I was like, I wonder like when the next season's gonna come out, because like I'm pretty sure it's been a long time. So I looked it up and it actually starts at the beginning of the year. Like it starts January 3rd.
Okay.
Cool. The newest seasons start out. So like I'm pretty excited, because I'm like, hey, I get to watch, you know, maybe I could like lead into more Animal Control. Like we could stop and do a season of that. Because it you know, it comes out, you know, once a week, so it's going to be a while for that to all span out in January. I think it goes all the way till February, but you know, there's like a lot of shows coming out next year, but
it'd probably be till March, because like the first season was 12 episodes, I think. And then the second season, I'm not sure if it was 8 episodes or 12 episodes. I thought it was 12. I think my biggest thing about the show, right, is that I think it has a good base after watching the first season for me to like the characters and get into. I'm just not sure if I'm super big into the characters as of now. And to be fair, whenever I was watching Community, I don't think it was until season like 2 or 3 that I liked the whole cast outside of Troy and Abed and Joe McHale. Or Jeff Winger at that point. So I'm giving it like the benefit of the doubt, where I'm like, this could be another like fantastic show that I love to watch. And so knowing that I have another season and that a third season's coming, I'm like, okay, it has the chance for me to really enjoy it and like it. I'm just maybe having growing pains right now, getting used to a sitcom show again, which I haven't watched in a while. You know?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm so used to like blockbuster style writing, and like found like we've been watching shows that are like 10, 15 episodes, and by the end of the 10 episodes, it's like boom, big story arc finale, like make you cry at the end or something like that, because they're like, we only got one season to do it, we're going to do it. This show is very much set up to be a long haul show, where it's like it's going to be about maybe 5 to 6 seasons of kind of the same thing, and just enjoying the ride versus what happens at the end, which I'm used to now. So yeah, I don't know. I like the whole story of like Shred and his girlfriend. I'm like, man, that's really quick. That was really quick for them to be like, I liked this girl, and like I was dating someone, and then I chose like her over her, and then I realized that she's into me, and then I realized I like her, and so now I'm gonna break up with her, and now she's into someone else. I'm like, you see a lot in sitcom shows, like that triangle strat.
Oh yeah.
And it just all happened in one season, like real quickly, and I was like, oh dang, that's either these two are never going to be item, or they're going to do like the item system that they do in like other shows, where they get together, they spend like a couple episodes together, and then they realize they're not great together, and then they break off, and then it's just back to normal. And I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. I'm open and willing to watch it all, because I think it's going to possibly be good. I think it'll be enjoyable. I liked the comedy style. I just have to get used to the style of show again, is all.
Yeah. No, I get that. Like it's not gonna come overnight. Like, and I feel like the newest season actually really helps a lot. Because we've always established characters, but also too is they start bringing in like, Joel McHale starts bringing in favors, where he's like, hey, what if we got this person that everyone knows me from, to show up, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But then,
you mean like cameos type of thing?
Yeah, like the cameos, okay. And then they start getting more all-star power, because I think like season 1 they were like, let's see if we can do this because it's Joel McHale, and like see if we can bring more people in. So then like I think more of season 2, I feel like there's more people that I know in season 2 than I do in season 1, because season 1 I only remember Jeff, really. And then who was the person you were saying that I knew? So
the other person, Austin, you probably don't know who they are. But you know them. So there is the episode where Joe McHale doesn't like the fact that he's getting old, and he got benched for the basketball game, or the basketball game. One of the basketball players, Austin, is McNeil, who gets his ankle injured at one point, and then he goes over and they're like, you gotta sit out, dude, you sprained your ankle. And Joe's like, yes, it's my time to go in there, I'm going to do it. And he goes in there. The person who sprained his knee, Austin, from a game. It's the Lucky Carter from Inscription.
Oh,
in Inscription, there is a segments of the game where you find out that you're actually playing as a character who's recording the game, and it periodically cuts back to like the recording session of him like recording himself. And when he's recording himself and he's talking, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know, that's the Lucky Carter, right? Well, whenever I was watching the episode and he walks up and he's like, I sprained my ankle, I was like, wait, hold up, I know that person. That's the Lucky Carter. I looked it up, IMDb. Yep, that's him. I got so even on the thing, it also mentions him as a person too. They don't have a picture of him because he's only been in like 2 TV shows as of now, which is this and Resident Alien. But I 100% like clocked him. I was like, hey, that's the dude. And then there was also another person, but I don't remember her name because I just know her from the era of SNL that I kind of stopped watching SNL like after Lonely Island Boys. She was the principal of the school. I don't remember her name. When I saw her, I was like, oh, she used to be on SNL. I don't know her name because I was past my time whenever I was watching SNL. So I recognized her. So it was fine. I'm like, oh, there's someone that me and Austin both know, but he probably doesn't know that he knows. And that sure enough was it.
Know.
Yeah, but if I showed you the episode and everything, you'd be like, yeah, that's him. Yeah, well, what the heck? But yeah, I mean that's going to happen in shows like this all the time, where you're going to have people and characters, or specifically people in the show bring in some of their friends for like one-off cameos and everything of that sort. And that's what kind of these shows kind of thrive on, I feel, a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's get Dan Harmon in this single like frame episode, or just a camera. Like you mentioned, I remember when we watched Community, the one guy who like brought in their coffee was the one dude from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
And
Badger.
I was like, yeah, don't know if he actually had like a role in this or not, or like if he was just a friend that are like, hey, you can play.
I think actually when that was happening, because I think Community was happening around Breaking Bad time. I think they were on the same lot actually, because I know like when that happens, there's like usually a lot of extras around or other actors, and they're like, hey, we need you to like fill in a role. Can you come in here and do this?
You're able to do
and
that.
Like, yeah, because they're on the same lot filming, so that makes a lot of sense. Like that time period, because I'm pretty sure around that time period, that's when Breaking Bad was going on too, when Community was going on. So makes sense. But yeah,
I have no idea because I didn't watch either of those whenever they were airing. It was well after they stopped airing that I finally watched them.
No, I'm the same way. Like I never started watching Breaking Bad until it was I think it was like the last season. I started watching Breaking Bad when Breaking Bad was in its last season. And then I watched I think the only show I didn't do that with was like Game of Thrones, really. Where like I was watching it, like I watched it like past I think it was like they were doing season 5 when I started watching it. Yeah. Because I watched season 4 was one of the first episodes I ever watched, the first season, season 4, because you know what happens there. It's just yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like this show does rely on some cameos, but it also is for like people.
Well, this season didn't rely on cameos.
Yeah, this season
there wasn't any like obvious like, hey, it's this person that like some of the shows type deal do. So it like held up on its own like merit, its own style, its own writing and everything. But like, who knows about the other seasons? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like season 2. It feels like Fox finally gave them the budget that they wanted for the show. And they're like, hey, do what you need to do. Like, this is it. And then, like, it did get renewed for season 3. Like, I think it was, like, after, like, 2 weeks of, like, the second episode actually came out. And then they were like, yes, we renewed Animal Control. And I was like, well, it must be that good. So I do like season 2 a lot better than season 1. I will say that. But I've only watched season 2, I think, like, twice. Maybe, you know, because they're really short episodes. They're not, like... You know,
no, they're only like they're the classic 22-minute episodes, which is why I was so surprised that there was 12 episodes. I'm like, well, with the format, I thought they would have like 24 episodes.
Yep. But yeah, because it's weird because season 2, like that was kind of weird with season 2 because they have 12 episodes season 1 and then season 2 is 9 episodes. And I remember when it was coming out, I was watching it as it comes out. And I was like, yeah, I'll just watch this because, you know, like, because at the time that this was coming out, there was nothing else I was watching. I was like, all right, what's next? Oh, Animal Control comes out Monday. Animal Control comes out Monday. And then, like, I kept watching it. And then I was like, you know, it was past episode 9. And then I was like, oh, okay, episode 10. There's no episode 10. What's going on here? And then I was like, oh, they're ending it. Like, episode 9 was the season finale. I was like, huh. I did not know that. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense because season 1 was 12 episodes. So I think that they're going with like nine episodes, which is pretty much the standard now. Oh, excuse me. Because I figured that out too, because I was talking to a friend about how certain TV shows used to have like 26 episodes, and now they're like cutting down to a lot. So it's like South Park was known for like having 20 some odd episodes a season.
Mhm.
Now the last 2 seasons have been 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa, like that is a huge cut. Like you're going from like a 26 episode season to 20 episodes, and you're cutting it down to 6. And like, I was like, I get that. And then they stated like why they did that. They're like, hey, you know, we want to work on other things, and like we want to work on the movies. We like making a big movie of it, so we don't have to like put out so many episodes and be like right on point with every episode. We just want to do the movie in the now and like what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense.
That
and
I
like,
think
it
that's
also,
it's becoming more common when it comes to Hollywood as well. Like it cuts a little money. They can still make as much money off of just the less episodes, and then they can really like condense it into the ones that really work and not the ones that like are kind of like maybe not.
yeah, because there's always like, this show kind of reminds me of a show that I loved when I was like I was about your age. I was about like
32.
About 14, about 15, 14.
Austin, that's way off, man. I'm not 14, man.
Ha ha ha. And what I was saying is like about the time when I was you were like getting into high school. It was like I was like 15, 16, something like that. It's the show Scrubs. Like this kind of reminds me of the show Scrubs, if you ever watched Scrubs before. But yeah, I just feel like that's kind of how Scrubs is. Like I feel like Scrubs is that way too. So it's just like the show there's funny moments, but it's not always funny, and like there's some episodes that are like just hit or misses a lot. Like they're not like, you know, meant to be completely hilarious.
The funny thing is, right, is that I don't find this show to have misses as much as like not hits. Like it's weird for me to say this, right? Because like I don't think any episode's bad. By far, none of the episodes were bad. I enjoyed at least something from every single episode. There are certain episodes where I thought were like more collectively funny than others, but I think it's going to get better as the seasons progress and the characters kind of move, motivate, or change to a degree. Because like whenever I think of Scrubs, I know for a fact, like I didn't watch Scrubs, but people loved Scrubs, and they have episodes that they quote like, this is an amazing episode, this is an amazing episode. But Scrubs was in that time period where they were releasing like 24 episodes per season, and there was a lot of episodes that were really good, and then a lot of episodes that people were like, oh yeah, that was a fine episode, or that wasn't a good episode, like this episode was kind of I feel like we don't have a lot of those episodes, but we do have like a couple where it's just like, okay, like I get the concept, I get what's happening here, I get what's funny of it. Like I keep seeing the kangaroo part where the dude fights the kangaroo. I kind of like, it's not that it wasn't funny to me, it was more of like, I think I've seen this before in something where like a kangaroo beats the crap out of someone and like boxes him, you know? And so my brain was like, this is nothing new. I don't think I care too much about it. But the one thing that did catch me off guard that I laughed at was the ferret episode. I think it was episode 1, where the ferret just straight up runs into the fire, and I was like, holy crap, that ferret just killed itself. And then it runs back on fire and lights the whole place on fire. That made me laugh, because I'm like, I didn't expect the ferret to like kamikaze itself into fire and then become like a running ball of fire. Like, yeah, it's whenever I think the one thing I clocked about this show is that the animals in the show are like way behind the scene. Like they're the driving force of the show, but they don't like include in the show very often. And when they do, the animals tend to be like just completely meant to be like the funny situation in there. And I think my only issue I have with that is that it's the issue of having a funny situation with funny people tends to be cringy. But if you have a funny situation with serious people, it's funny. Or if you have not funny people with a serious situation, it's funny, right? And anything that I feel like Joel McHale's in, like in this series, like in the Animal Control, he's playing a very serious character with like certain insecurities that make him funny. Every animal situation he's involved in, I feel like is funny because he's a serious character in a unserious situation, and that's what makes it funny. Like the Weasel episode is one, right? The Weasel is on fire, running around lighting everything on fire. Everyone else is afraid of the Weasel, and he's like, "What the heck are you idiots doing?" type deal thing. That's funny. Later, whenever they're trying to capture the dog, and the dog is the serious one, like the dog has no funny things about it. It's just a monstrous dog that's trying to kill them. They're playing as the comedy parts, and it works very well. The other group, the one female and the one guy with the daughter, I don't feel like they're the same dynamic. I feel like they're both kind of like unserious, and I don't get the same laughs from them. And it may just be because I don't know their like actors very well, and so I don't have a natural affinity to them. It may just because of writing wise, they're writing them both as kind of like unserious individuals, and that's not working for my brain. I don't know, but I noticed like there's not a lot of episodes where they're not like, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep like going on this, but like the bunny episode that we just saw on the screen, right? That's another situation of a unserious situation, unserious people with unserious situation where it's like the bunnies are high, man. They're like, they ate the shrooms and they're forming a communistic society, and then they started attacking him, and it's like, this guy's not serious. And so watching an unserious situation upon someone who's not serious, it just kind of seems like, okay, we get it, like he's incompetent. But then you have other episodes, right? Like the stakeout episode where they're staking out for the peacocks thing, right? Joel McHale is being really serious, and then when they go and find the cougar that has ate the peacock, and like Joe's like, I can't do it, man. This is C-38. Like, I can't do it. And she has to do what she has to do. Like, that's a serious situation with like not so serious premise of like the peacock. Granted, after C-38 showed up, it became serious on serious, and you're just kind of like, oh no, it's the great white buffalo. All right, Austin, I didn't mean to hijack. I just that was something that I was.
No worries.
Because you know, like you think of Community a lot, right? Like
yeah.
Joel McHale was the serious individual in that series, and everyone else tended to be not so serious. And so whenever people had serious situations, they would come about it silly. But then if they were silly, the situation would be serious, you know? Point in case, the pregnancy episode, where Nicole Yvette Brown's character is pregnant and she's about to have a kid, and everyone's trying to be like super like helpful, but they're just idiots and everything's failing. The situation is very serious. She's having a baby. But everyone is very unserious, like unable to like focus and everything. That's funny. I don't know, man. I don't know if this is like, if that's true or if that's all in my head. That's just my concept. I'm like, that to me is what makes things funny. If you have too many serious things, then it becomes not serious. If you have too many silly things, it becomes cringy and unfunny because you just get annoyed. That's me. This show has a good mix of it. I don't ever feel like a situation is too cringy or too serious, but I think that's where it can miss sometimes, where the situation is funny and then the characters there are a little too like silly. So who knows, maybe next season I'll completely be wrong. I'd be cool with that.
Maybe we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I need to have another show that I'm going to hyperfixation on now that What We Do in the Shadows is ending. We'll have to figure that out.
True.
So I need that. True. If Animal Control's that, then so be it. I'll be okay with that. All right, Austin. Well, I have to ask you, do you have anything else you want to say? Or are you kind of talked out? I've been ranting for like the last 5 to 10 minutes, maybe.
No, you know, I had fun. It was fun. I will say, I think you will like season 2 better. I know I did. I thought it was way better. But I totally understand why, you know, some people, I have seen like a lot of critique on the show where they're like, I hate that show. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. You know, it's not the people that were trying to watch it. Like the most of the people I've ever like seen, like why they hate it. They're like, this isn't like Community. I'm like, yeah, you know, you can't compare it, you know, so.
It's like trying to watch Scrubs and comparing it to like Drew Carey show. It's completely different. They may both be called comedy, but they are not the same thing, so don't do it.
Yep. So, but yeah, no, I'm you know, we got season 2.
Yep, season 2. Awesome. I know we talked. Are you good for next week?
Yes, I am actually. I found out that my flight actually comes in at like 9 o'clock in the morning, so I actually will be ready to do the podcast later.
Solid.
That night.
So that means that we're definitely going to watch next season. However, because we're possibly going to do a holiday on the 22nd, and there's also the possibility about like you coming down, dropping me off / staying the week after. We are definitely going to do next week, which is Animal Control season 2. But then after that, we'll have to discuss to see if we gotta take a break for the last 2 weeks of December, just because of holiday stuff going on, and we'll figure that out next week. Oh, hey Molly. So for now, next week we're going to do Animal Control. Austin, thank you so much for joining on this episode of Animal Control. And next week we're going to do Animal Control season 2.
Yeah.
So Austin, thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you all so much for tuning in.